I am Geoffrey in Broken Crescent 2.3 in a Khwarezm campaign on very hard. I am flying through this campaign to get to the Mongol event. We are in game turn 59.
Noble one, we will engage them honorably.
And before we go to that siege of Bela, we have another siege in our hands. We have the siege of Nishapur. So Nishapur is defended by Sultan Shah the Mean. It had a very large rebel army. In fact, I think 3 largest rebel armies originally. And here's what's left of them. The Seljuks of Iraq have been attacking them, and these depleted units have survived. There's some Tajik urban militia. It's a very nice unit. And this Khwarezm heavy spearman is an excellent unit with a defense of 30, very unique. They have very similar units to ours, but unfortunately we cannot get this Khwarezm heavy spearmen. I don't know who gets them. They're Khwarezm. They should be Khwarezmian, but we don't have them. I don't know if we'll get them later on. I doubt it. Their houses fell waste and their palaces lay in ruins, the Arabian Nights. So, it's raining. Prefer fog over rain, so I've chosen fog. So, here is our general. Very glorious looking, with a very glorious bodyguard of heavy horse archers. What we see behind is very interesting. It looks like a flood. Sometimes you get floods, and sometimes you get announcements of floods. Well, this is what it looks like having a flood, I guess. It's a little bit weird because on the battle map it looks like a lake on a slope, a sloping lake, but never mind. Very interesting, very unique. In all the years I've been playing this game, I've never seen a flood. So we're attacking from both sides.
Our ladders have reached the walls. May our brave lions strike these curs who hide behind them.
The main army attacks from the front with our general, and here we just have one unit. These are Khwarezm axemen, I think. And they're attacking on that side. They are confronted by some heavy archers. And on this side we just have these 2 catapults because the enemy is usually weak. If you put units close to the walls on the other sides, it leaves one of the walls unguarded, and so put these catapults further back, and so there's nobody confronting the catapults. Here are one of our units. They are attacking this unit here on the walls. This is a very heavy sword unit. No, in fact, it's a very heavy mace unit. These look super dangerous. So
A foe fights with horns made of clay. We are winning the battle!
our own unit here on the right is a medium heavy sword unit, but we are confronting a very small but very strong elite heavy infantry unit. And fortunately on the other side we brought these double-handed axemen. They're a light, relatively light, medium light unit, but at least they have axes. And so we're struggling here. At least we have flanked the enemy unit, and it's fortunate the enemy unit is really small in size and depleted. Here they are. They have been flanked on both sides. So you see here the situation on the minimap. Here's that medium light unit of axemen. There's, I think they're called Khwarezm axemen.
Our men have reached the gate with the battering ram.
And we brought in a battering ram at the front. Here these light axemen are confronted with some heavy archers. The heavy archers are also armed with maces, I do believe. There's also these very heavy units. These are the heavy Khwarezm spear militia or spearmen. These are super heavy. It must be probably the heaviest spearmen in the game. Among the heaviest dismounted spearmen. And they are heading for this little gate. They want to get onto that wall, and rear end our unit up there. So that's a tricky situation. So they are making up to this wall where we had flanked that heavy unit of macemen. They're only left with about half a dozen men, these macemen. So we are making good progress. Unfortunately, the heavy spearmen have made it up and they have attacked our swordsmen in the rear. The swordsmen are Tajik militia. They're called militia, but they are a reasonably heavy unit. They are very, very capable, especially on the ground. They're very good. On the walls are decent, but on the ground they're very good for some reason. I don't know why. And so we've destroyed finally that unit of macemen. Here's the side with the heavy archers. You see the heavy archers? They actually don't have maces, they have swords, but they're very capable. They have very heavy armor. They're in melee, they're a better unit than our double-handed axemen, although the double-handed axemen have AP, they have anti-armor capability because of the axes that can destroy armor. Nonetheless, they are not armored, they have no body armor of any kind, so they are relatively weaker as a unit. They cost about 460 in this game, in this incarnation of the mod. This is realistic. The pricing here is the same as in the vanilla, so the same costing scheme that we have in vanilla and Kingdoms and the traditional creative assembly type games, which is used also in stainless steel most of the time. The same kind of pricing for units is used here. So 458 is what you would expect from vanilla for a medium unit. And they have axes, so they're decent. They're not as good as Varangians or something, but they have been routed. So the enemy archers here are victorious.
The battering ram has done its work, and now is the time to fight.
And we've broken through the gate with a ram here. So not only don't we have the Khwarezmi spearmen, we also don't have those wonderful Khwarezmi archers that you saw that defeated our axemen. And here the enemy general has come out, but the enemy general bodyguard has backed out. And so just about a dozen cavalrymen from that bodyguard, which has about 60 or 70 men in it, about a dozen have come out. And while that was going on, I was too busy watching the enemy bodyguard, we've broken through the gate here with our catapults. And we had one cavalry unit, I believe, and these are Deccan Lancers. And they are a medium unit of Lancers. They're not the heaviest Lancers. There's a better unit of Lancers. They're called Cataphract.
Allah is glorious.
Or half Cataphract Lancers, and they're much better.
It's time we captured this place.
Our Deccan Lancers have gone through the gate.
My lord, our men are in command of the city.
And they have made it to the city plaza. And here's the rest of the enemy general's bodyguard. So part of it is fighting at the gate, but about 50 men are here. And we are trying to hold them back. The only thing that's saving us is that the other half of the unit, or a fifth of the unit, is stuck by the gate fighting our spearmen. So they didn't have much of a force in their charge. And they are stuck and can't get to the city plaza. So here's the rest of that enemy general bodyguard unit. They're armed with maces.
Foe fights with horns made of clay. We are winning the battle.
This is a super heavy unit. It's like a heavy Gulam unit. It's like heavy, like super heavy. And they have something like over 60 men in this bodyguard. And it's going to be a headache to destroy this unit. So our Deccan Lancers are making themselves scarce. And fortunately, the enemy general is backed out, so he cannot chase them. And here our spearmen, we have some medium spearmen. Medium Khwarezmi spearmen, not the very heavy ones we saw earlier. These ones here with a brownish kind of cuirass, but no other armor. And they have a helmet, of course, and a shield. Okay, they have some armor, but no other body armor. And we've got the Tajik militia in the rear, and now the enemy general's bodyguard is trying to go back into the town plaza. And they're stuck against the Tajik militia. I was bringing another unit, but instead of going through the city, they somehow decided to go around the walls for some reason. They came out of this city, back down the ladders, and started running towards the gate from outside. Totally stupid. The AI needs some babysitting. So our catapults are trying to aim at the enemy general's bodyguard, but because it's so spread out, they're firing into the void. They're firing where there are no bodyguards at all. You see? So half the unit is here, the other one is by the gate, and the catapults are firing in the center where there's nobody. Yeah, they're hitting no one. They're basically firing into the void. And now those spearmen that are chasing the enemy cavalry have made their appearance, and also we're bringing in our own general. So here are those medium spearmen, and we've killed some of the enemy cavalry there. We've managed also these routed axemen have been rallied, and they've come back into the town plaza from the other side, from the left. Here, Deacon Lancers are trying to hold back the enemy general, and our catapults are aiming them, but unfortunately the catapults are not shooting because now the enemy general is engaged in melee.
My lord, wisest one, we have lost control of the city.
And our spearmen are about to rear-end the enemy general. You can see the enemy general bodyguard has still about 40 to 45 cavalrymen in it, possibly more. Our catapults are completely missing. Here our Tajik swordsmen have engaged some of the enemy units. I think these were the heavy archers that were on the walls. They are a match for our swordsmen, so this is, in terms of quality, they're similar, but probably have just a few more swordsmen, so may do okay. We brought the general here to give courage to our men, and he has an archer unit, and so he can also contribute. He can fire at the backs of the enemy. These double-handed axemen have come here to help. The double-handed axemen coming from every side. And we brought another unit of spearmen here. We're trying to attack the enemy general in the rear. These are very light spearmen, among the lightest.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
We killed some of the horsemen, and we killed another one here. But we're doing very slow progress, and look how our men are just dying. We just lost half a dozen. They're just, they're just falling on the ground as soon as they approach the enemy horsemen. So they're melting away. You can see they keep dying. They're just melting away, one after the other. They're dying at such a fast rate. For every cavalryman we kill, we lose about 20 or 30 men.
Only half our force remains.
We're down to only half our force at this rate. There'll be nobody left. Okay, we killed another one of these bodyguards. And our general goes closer to give our men courage. Our Tajik swordsmen have finished with the enemy units, so they're coming this way. Our axemen are also coming this way. Our Deacon Lancers are down to a couple of men by now. And we've won this battle. The enemy unit probably broke. Oh no, the timer ran out. Unfortunately, I was trying to take a screenshot at this point as the timer ran out. I was admiring this view, so I pressed OK, continue, without checking what it was, and it was the fact that we won the battle. And so now we're continuing the battle accidentally, I didn't want it to continue because this heavy unit of cavalry is going to destroy my army. And so I'm going to click out of the battle. That's what I've done there. I left the battle. Of course we won. We had already won the battle.
Alhamdulillah! Your faith and courage have triumphed!
And usually I sack the settlements.
All praise to Allah for this victory!
Make about 14,000 florins there. And the Battle of Bela is next.
How may I serve, Sultan? Inshallah, we will smite this foe, Sultan.
Okay, it's not the Sultan, he is the Shahzadeh, the faction heir. So you remember the Malikate of Sind had attacked Bela, which was one of their settlements that we took from them. Here's their army. They have a lot of these Jat spearmen, or some of the Jat spearmen, and a lot of Sumbruk Kshatriya infantry. And these are medium javeliners. The Jat spearmen are very light. The attack will be made by Captain Munchdad, who has a garrison with just 2 light javelin units.
Give the infidel nothing, you say, except death.
And we attack with just cavalry. And nearly everyone is horse archers, except we have 1 unit of lancers. So here's Shahzadeh Mohammed. He was actually the one who became king at the time when the Mongols invaded historically. So here's Dad Mohammed. And so here he is on the left. There he is, Shahzadeh Mohammed, a real historical character. This time he's just a prince, and he's leading this cavalry force against the Sind army. And this is a wonderful view with Bela in the background and the mounted archers in the foreground. Wonderful. This is exactly the magic of Broken Crescent. You feel like you have a small army of faithful comrades, and you are campaigning in the deserts of Asia around Iran and thereabouts with that faithful group of followers building an empire. Otherwise the game is very hard. You cannot build very much. Everything is super expensive. So progress with building is very slow, and diplomacy is very, very hard. And merchants are not great. Priests are quite useless, and you only get them late. At this point I only had 2 priests in the entire empire, even though I'm in game turn 59. And so it's just a case of focusing on that faithful band of followers as you go through these endless deserts building an empire. And it has this very zen feeling, this very focused feeling. You're very focused on your men, and usually your best units are other generals. And so you're very much focused on just a handful of characters and the heavy bodyguards, and one particular character will have the army, the smallest army, usually a half stack of cavalry going around the world conquering places. It has this very unique feel. Very wonderful. So here is the enemy general. He has a unit of Sumbruk Kshatriya horsemen, and they are medium javeliners. And here they are approaching our Shahzadeh. Fortunately, they have turned away. And every time they turn away, they're being hit in the rear by arrows, and they die more easily. The rest of the army is not doing very much. They are coming our way, but we are skirmishing away from them. And so they're just running a little bit towards our cavalry, and then they run back. Here they are. Here are some catapults. It's very hard to tell who is who, especially around here. All the units look similar in this part of the world. So the rebels are also Khwarezmi very often. Obviously, the catapults, the catapult crews, and so on are the same for all units. So there's a lot of similarities between armies. The Judge Spearmen are freely available. Some of the others, those Javeliners, are available everywhere. Some of the Horse Archers are the same everywhere along the map. So it's very difficult to know who is who. So we've got a shooting circle here.
Praise be to Allah! The enemy's general lies dead. Now
We'll kill the enemy
their
general.
doom upon them.
He died from some arrow. Captain Sumar. Here we can tell now who is who, because the infantry is all Sindh now, and the cavalry is all Khwarezmian. Here's a heavy enemy unit. We attack them in the rear. One of those heavy Shumro Kshatriya units. Here we've attacked their catapult with some heavy cavalry. Have a unit of heavy cavalry. We also have some light cavalry. These are these Pashtun light horsemen. And we've attacked one of the heavy Sumro Kshatriya units, or maybe this is an archer unit. It's a very heavy unit, this one, but we've broken them.
Battle appears to be running in our favor. From good tidings such as these, does victory spring forth.
And so now it's a case of hit and run. The enemy is left with just infantry, so they're at a huge disadvantage. And I've skipped part of the battle, so we've gone past the middle of the battle. We're near the end of the battle at this point. At this point, the enemy is left with about 3 or 4 companies, and this is one of them. This is a spear unit, but a very light one. So don't be surprised at what's going to happen.
The enemy are badly bloodied. They have lost half their men.
That light spear unit has been wiped out.
Victory is well within our grasp. In time our foe will surely see this and lose heart.
So do not think I have modded the battle AI. The battle AI is as it used to be up to version 2.3. And sometimes the battle AI is a little bit passive, especially during sieges if you sally out. For example, here you see that those spearmen didn't try to turn around. Nonetheless, had they turned around, they would have accomplished very little. So here is a unit of the Sumro Kshatriya swordsmen, a heavier unit. They tried to do something, but they got wiped out anyway. So there is an advantage in staying stationary, because you can actually hold your ground better against cavalry. So it's not necessarily a bad idea, even though they get attacked in the rear with this battle AI. Very often some of the units, they get passive and then they get charged in the rear while they're just standing there. They would have had equal or more casualties if they were running towards the lancers.
Our foe fights with horns made of clay. We are winning the battle.
Here's one thing I've been often complaining or wondering what has happened to the ambient buildings. There are ambient buildings sometimes around settlements, like we see here. But very often there are almost never any ambient buildings out in the country. So now one of these light units has been flattened by our heavy cavalry. So here again those ambient buildings, these small farms, very nice. But the other thing is you mainly see small farms. Sometimes you may see some medium farms, but hardly ever anything else. And almost never anything in the countryside. I do not know why this is the case, whether it's a slow rate of build-up and development in Broken Crescent, I don't know. Here is their last remaining enemy unit. Is an almost full unit of light spearmen. These are super light, among the lightest in the whole mod. So again, don't be surprised at what you're going to see.
All praise to Allah. You have left our enemy lost. They run like children. Scour them from the field.
So, we've destroyed the Sind army, thanks to our cavalry. And this cavalry has conquered nearly the entire empire. These units here, they've been with the Sajjadeh for a very long time. And they've been going from settlement to settlement, taking settlement after settlement. Very often they will attack with just a few horsemen, not the entire group, or in the beginning they didn't even have so many horsemen. And then the enemy will sally out and will be defeated out in the open. And this is how we've built the empire, with these units. Originally there were only about 4 or 5 of them, now I have about a dozen. And here's the last Sind soldier is running off. He's one of their captains, possibly a Kshatriya swordsman or javelin man. He's drawn out his sword. And here's the town plaza of Bela. On the left we have a unit of lancers. This is the only unit of lancers in our entire empire. And these 2 heavier units are bodyguards. These guys you see here, they're also holding lances for some reason, but they're actually horse archers. Perhaps they've used all their arrows, so they've picked up their lances. Here's that lance unit, the only lance unit in the empire. They've drawn out their swords, these guys. Okay, but they're a lance unit. They are lances, cataphract lances, or half cataphract. You see the horses are not completely cataphract, only the front is cataphract. Whereas these horses are fully cataphract.
The enemy must curse the day they were born. Let all the poets write of this most wondrous triumph.
So, a heroic victory. We still lost 117 men. The garrison didn't do much, they just watched the battle. There were some light javelin men anyway. And one of the bodyguards killed 400 of the enemy. Blood never sleeps. A quote from Saladin. Wonderful, huh? So we offered our prisoners up for ransom,
A most honorable victory.
but ransom was rejected. Unfortunately, we lost one of our generals. How unfortunate. Bukatil Zanzani has been slain. Unfortunate. So, an heroic victory. And I try at this point with the faction heir to not kill the enemy prisoners. If I can, offer them up for ransom. I want to keep him chivalrous, but you'll see eventually this will become harder and harder. So, that was a battle. Thank you for watching.